Oh
franchise.
my goodness. Well, that was just a neat little surprise. Rob Liefeld, who drew Lady Pool.
I love Rob.
He's cool,
Isn't
right?
he great?
Yeah. He
Let's not mince words. Ryan Reynolds just got straight up booted from Disney, or so the headlines scream. And if that's not bonkers enough, we've got Justin Baldoni throwing down a lawsuit over some mysterious nice pool character. Maybe you've heard the whispers. Reynolds apparently went rogue, crossing lines so outrageous that the Mouse House slammed the door in his face. Believe it or not, folks, this is the meltdown everyone's buzzing about, and we're here to dish it all. Are you ready for a no-holds-barred take on the scandal that's about to blow up every social feed on the planet?
No. It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife, and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband, and me as his best mate.
Holy shit.
Because trust me, you won't believe what's coming next. Get this. Rumors are swirling that during a behind-closed-doors meeting, Ryan Reynolds flew off the handle at a team of Disney executives. We're talking raised voices, intense phone, calls, storming out of conference rooms. Supposedly, this meltdown sparked a chain reaction that left Disney top dogs feeling disrespected and cornered. They'd poured boatloads of faith and cash into Reynolds, fronting multiple marquee projects. But once those behind-the-scenes tantrums spilled over, folks say Mickey's castle turned ice cold.
I could not be more excited, actually. I'm 11 years excited. When I talk about it, I always just grateful I'm wearing an adult diaper. This movie has been just the biggest pain in the ass to get made, and
what's so wild is just how sudden it seems. One minute, you've got Reynolds cruising on that freewheeling, wisecracking persona he's built over the years. Mr. Charisma, always smiling in public. The next, we're hearing about unacceptable arrogance and reckless disregard for the very brand that gave him a platform. The meltdown itself supposedly involved arguments over a comedic bit called Nice Pool, which might have been pitched or partially developed under Disney's umbrella. The swirling rumor, Reynolds tried to claim it as his personal baby.
Approached a senior executive at WME and expressed his deep disdain for Baldoni, going as far as to suggest that the agency is working with a sexual predator.
Ignoring prior input from Justin Baldoni. If that's not enough to rattle your brain, wait till you hear how fast Disney moved. There's chatter they convened a hush-hush emergency session of upper management, deciding on the spot that Reynolds was out, no announcements, no press releases, just a swift snap of the fingers. He was gone. And the big question on everyone's minds, why such a drastic measure? Sure, he might have spouted off or said something out of line, but this is Ryan Reynolds. The brand synergy alone typically grants a big star a mile of leeway. So what kind of bombshell lit the fuse so fast?
I had no idea, but in 2010, he drew Lady Deadpool, and at the same time, I was cast in the Green Lantern with my now husband, who is not my husband then.
Well, brace yourself, because that meltdown was only the appetizer. What follows is pure spectacle, but that wasn't the whole story. Fast forward to the next day, and the rumor mill was in overdrive. Leaked voicemails, hush-hush texts, and maybe even a suspicious audio clip or two. Some claim that in these alleged recordings, you can actually hear Reynolds trashing the creative. Direction Disney wanted. He's apparently heard ranting about how they'll never own my comedic style, and telling a top exec that this isn't your grandma's silly cartoon, so back off. Brutal? Possibly, but for a major star who's built a persona on being playful, accessible, and fan-focused, it's downright shocking. Meanwhile, we're hearing bits and pieces about messages hinting at secret deals Reynolds tried to broker.
And so I read the script and I just immediately did a voice note. And I didn't call because I wanted it just to be my without any questions. And literally 60 minutes of it is crap.
With third-party companies, think cameo tie-ins or streaming services, bypassing Disney's standard procedures. One version of the rumor says that a Disney staffer discovered these side deals and felt blindsided, tipping off the higher-ups. Another version suggests that these nice pool bits were initially Disney's property, but Reynolds was trying to do a standalone project on the sly. And to top it off, Justin Baldoni's name surfaces with claims that he's the original creative mind behind the concept. The big kicker here? Justin Baldoni isn't backing down.
I'll agree that the moral crimes committed here by Ryan Reynolds against Justin Baldoni have amounted to high treason.
Word on the street is that these voicemails might contain references to Baldoni's previous ideas, and Baldoni has a paper trail to prove it. So it wasn't just that Reynolds stepped on Disney's toes, he may have stepped on Baldoni's legal property as well. Talk about a double whammy. Disney, already reeling from negative buzz, apparently realized they were sitting on a PR powder. Keg allegedly tried to do damage control behind closed doors, but the meltdown was too big to hide.
It was inarticulate, it was embarrassing,
Oh, it was
but
great.
I learnt this from my acting teacher. When you first read a play or a script, write down everything you think because you never have those eyes again.
When you have a star of Reynolds' caliber flinging barbs left and right and throwing shade at co-creators, that's a scandal waiting to explode. Plus, imagine fans hearing that their favorite comedic hero isn't so warm and fuzzy after all. The heartbreak alone might have pressured Disney to cut ties, no matter the cost. But guess what? We're just scratching the surface. Now, let's talk Baldoni. You might know him as the heartfelt actor-director behind various uplifting projects, but rumors say he's got a vengeful streak if you cross him. Allegedly, Baldoni has been working on something called Nice Pool. For a while, a quirky concept rumored to revolve around comedic scenes set around a pool where deeper life lessons seep through. Enter Ryan Reynolds, who apparently latched onto the concept, pitched it to the bigwigs at Disney, and claimed it as his own spark of genius. Insiders speculate that Baldoni confronted Reynolds privately, demanding credit, or at least acknowledgement, of his input. The response? Radio silence, or so the story goes.
And Rob Liefeld drew Lady Pool based on, he and his wife watched Gossip Girl.
Yes.
So it just was just a crazy, it's just like how the world just kind of.
So he had already had
places
you
these
in
things.
mind for that?
He did. And then, my husband and I, got married, Deadpool was made.
No apology, no co-ownership discussion, nada. That's when Baldoni supposedly lost his patience. He's said to have lawyered up, amassing every scrap of evidence. Emails referencing their initial brainstorming sessions, text messages where Reynolds praised Baldoni's vision, and possibly even behind-the-scenes photos capturing them discussing Nice Pool. The bombshell is that Baldoni's lawsuit states Reynolds acted with calculated disregard, a phrase that's already fueling 1,000 tabloid headlines. Baldoni's argument seems to be, "This was my creation," and Ryan stole it for a
Basically, there was no association with Ryan. Ryan had no association with Deadpool. I mean, he was supposed to make this movie, but it wasn't. It was a pipe dream. It wasn't ever really going to happen.
big Disney payout. Cue the drama. With Baldoni filing paperwork, the courts get involved, and suddenly, Disney's brand looks even shakier. Did they know about Baldoni's role? Did they ignore it in favor of star power? To top it off, Baldoni's social media presence turned cryptic. He posted vague references to backstabbing in Hollywood and fighting for what's right, fueling speculation among fans who already suspect Reynolds of pulling strings. Then boom, Disney's rumored firing of Reynolds. Plenty of. Folks connect the dots. Once the lawsuit hit, Disney saw a serious liability in continuing to hitch their wagon to Reynolds. If Baldoni's evidence is half as solid as rumored, this fiasco could humiliate everyone involved. And if you think that's the end of the line, buckle up. When big names collide, Hollywood pays attention.
There's some people, I've had people who, I don't necessarily, we're not best buddies at all moments, but, do we do well together on screen? And there's some people that, we're best buddies, and then on screen it's like, so you just never really know.
And this fiasco has drawn a crowd of side characters, each with their own spicy take. People are whispering about Blake Lively's hush-hush concern that her husband's meltdown might tarnish both their personal brand and their philanthropic endeavors. Some say she's furious behind the scenes, urging him to come clean and smooth. Things over, but hey, that's just the grapevine. Meanwhile, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's name surfaced. He's known for forging alliances and cameo crossovers with Reynolds, especially after that buddy cop energy they flaunted in various projects. Word is, Dwayne's camp is stepping carefully. They don't want The Rock's unstoppable box office appeal diluted by association with a scandal. So fans are reading into every subtle gesture. Did The Rock quietly unfollow Reynolds? Did he remove mention of old collabs? The rumor mill's spinning. And let's not forget folks like Hugh Jackman, who's had a tongue-in-cheek rivalry with Reynolds for years. The two are known for comedic jabs at each other on social media. But in the wake of these allegations, watchers say Jackman's gone radio silent. No playful roasts, no supportive words, nothing. That vacuum of reaction might speak volumes. If you can't stand by your longtime jokester buddy, maybe you know more than you're letting on. Additionally, some of Disney's stable, names like Tom Holland or Brie Larson, may have been quietly relieved that the spotlight's off them. Sure, it's speculation, but the chatter is that big studio stars see this as a wake-up call. No one is invincible, not even comedic darlings. The old rule used to be that if you rake in big bucks and keep your sense of humor public-facing, your job was safe. Clearly not anymore. Still not convinced the scandal has peaked? Wait till you hear about Reynolds' rumored manipulative side. Ryan Reynolds built a goldmine brand on irreverent humor, seemingly genuine interactions with fans, and that guy next door who just happens to be a movie star vibe. But behind that polished facade, new stories keep tumbling out. Insiders are now saying Reynolds can be demanding and manipulative, using his comedic charm to bend colleagues to his will. Some accounts claim that if you don't fall in line with his vision, he'll sideline you faster than you can blink. It's a stark contrast. On camera, he's all quips and smiles. Off camera, the rumor is a laser-focused operator who knows exactly how to spin any situation to his advantage. Think about it. If the meltdown rumor is true, and if the lawsuit reveals text chains painting Reynolds as the main orchestrator behind Nice Pool, then we're seeing a pattern. For years, folks may have assumed he was just taking the lead on comedic projects. In reality, he might have been brushing aside collaborators or swallowing up their ideas whole. This tension between heroic comedic star and possible backroom manipulator is fueling massive fan outrage. Some watchers say they feel betrayed, like the charismatic showman they trusted was all an act. Others insist we should wait for more facts. But let's face it, the damage might already be done. If enough former colleagues step forward with tales of run-ins or questionable behavior, the brand that once looked unbreakable might crash and burn. Critics also point out that Reynolds has a history of pivoting comedic bits into multi-million-dollar marketing deals. Remember how he turned his wisecracking style into a marketing empire with alcohol brands, phone companies, and more? Picture that same cunning mind using someone else's concept to secure a mega contract with Disney. Doesn't sound so far-fetched. Now does it? But just when you think it can't get any darker, something else hits the fan. If the meltdown rumors and the Baldoni lawsuit weren't enough, fresh allegations keep surfacing. A source close to the situation allegedly leaked emails referencing hush-hush payouts, hush-hush NDAs, hush-hush everything. Basically, it's a cloak and dagger storyline fit for the biggest tabloids in the business. The meltdown that started with shouting behind closed doors seems to have unraveled a monstrous tapestry of half-truths and secret negotiations. Now Disney's in full damage control mode, or so folks claim. Their legal team might be bracing for a discovery process that could pull top executives into depositions. Can you imagine the headlines if Bob Iger or another big exec had to testify about who pitched the nice pool concept first? Insanity. Meanwhile, those close to Reynolds maintain that this is all being blown out of proportion. They argue that Reynolds never intentionally stole anything, that he was just championing a comedic bit he thought up, with maybe some light brainstorming from Baldoni. But that doesn't square well with talk of official documents, which Baldoni's camp says are bulletproof. And then there's the question of exactly how volatile Reynolds' meltdown was. Did he just have a bad day, or did he verbally assault people in that conference room? The scariest possibility is that recordings or transcripts might exist. If they do, we can bet they'll find their way onto social media or be referenced in court documents for the entire planet to see. People always assume big Hollywood stars are bulletproof. But as this fiasco proves, one good meltdown and one determined lawsuit can upend an entire career overnight. And the scandal? It's still unspooling. Even with Disney cutting ties, the noise is only amplifying because folks smell blood in the water. Once you're in the crosshairs, every skeleton in your closet starts rattling. But wait, because it gets even more unbelievable. Let's talk about the comedic spin. You'd think such a scandal would have no room for jokes, but the internet is a savage place. Memes are flying around, mocking Reynolds as the poster boy for a meltdown of epic proportions. One viral clip features a montage of his on-camera wisecracks, spliced together with text about him being too busy stealing jokes to notice he's stealing IP. Brutal. Fans who once championed him as Hollywood's funniest figure are now peppering social media with disclaimers like, "Guess he's not so innocent after all." Late-night hosts are rumored to be drafting entire monologues poking fun at Reynolds' downfall. And yes, they'll probably get big laughs from a public that can't believe the darling of comedic cinema got ejected by Disney. Meanwhile, supporters of Justin Baldoni are crowing triumphantly, championing him as a righteous underdog who refused to let a big-name star walk all over him. Behind the curtain, some say Reynolds is seething, trying to tamp down the narrative that he's a duplicitous fraud. But the comedic hits keep coming. Everywhere you look, new parody sketches, comedic articles, or satirical tweets appear. One comedic influencer posted a skit about Ryan's next pool, joking it's a kiddie pool full of half-baked ideas. Ouch. But it's not just about the lulz. This comedic onslaught underlines just how quickly public favor can shift. Yesterday, social media crowned him the comedic king. Today, they're cutting him down with savage wit. It's a cautionary tale. The bigger your brand is built on humor, the bigger the backlash when you're exposed as the alleged opposite behind closed doors. Yet the hammer still hasn't fully dropped. The rumor swirl continues. Some folks claim Disney's legal team is finalizing statements that reference brand new allegations. Others whisper that Justin Baldoni has more evidence up his sleeve, like interview outtakes or additional text messages, proving Ryan Reynolds systematically tried to erase Baldoni's contributions. Remember that meltdown? Some insiders say it never really ended. Reynolds is rumored to be venting to any ally who'll listen, accusing Baldoni of orchestrating a malicious PR campaign. But ironically, that's the hallmark of a meltdown, when you can't stop lashing out, even as your empire teeters. The more Reynolds tries to defend himself behind closed doors, the more leaks appear, fueling an unstoppable rumor mill. As for Disney, insiders say they're done. They want no part of the meltdown, no part of the shady underpinnings, no part of lawsuits. For them, the final straw was the potential that Reynolds' behind-the-scenes behavior might come to light, overshadowing the family-friendly, squeaky-clean image Disney cherishes. Now fans stand on edge, waiting to see if Reynolds can orchestrate a public apology or if Baldoni will press forward. Is there a chance this all gets settled quietly? Doubtful. Not with the internet in a frenzy and the courts possibly involved. The downfall might be unstoppable, and any last-ditch attempt to salvage Reynolds' brand could only come off as damage control. Yes, it's messy. Yes, it's sensational. But that's Hollywood. So where does that leave us? This saga started as a murmur. Ryan Reynolds might be in hot water, and escalated into a towering inferno of accusations, lawsuits, and exposed manipulations. Disney apparently washed its hands of him, fueling the rumor that his meltdown was the final straw. Justin Baldoni is marching into court, claiming he was robbed of his creative property. Meanwhile, fans, insiders, and curious onlookers can't decide who to believe, but the drama is too juicy to ignore. Is Ryan Reynolds the victim of a smear campaign, or did he orchestrate his own downfall by messing with forces he couldn't control? Either way, this story isn't going away anytime soon. The meltdown, the voicemails, the hush-hush deals. It's all out in the open, painting a picture of a star who may have believed he was invincible, but no one is untouchable when scandal strikes Hollywood. And if we've learned anything from this fiasco, it's that a carefully cultivated persona can shatter faster than a cracked glass when real evidence surfaces. So ask yourself, can you believe any of this? Because the real shocker might be that we've only uncovered the tip of the iceberg. The next wave of revelations could be around the corner, and trust me, things could get a whole lot crazier. Keep your eyes peeled, folks, because in a scandal this messy, the final chapter is never truly written.